Welcome back to the Brent Daniels Real Estate Investing Live Show. Oh, we've got an awesome topic today. It is all about squeezing the most out of every opportunity that you come across. Every lead, there is some way to convert that into income. Now, remember this is fundamental and this is critical that we understand this, or we're going to waste a lot of time out there and have a lot of heartburn when we're speaking with property owners. A lead, very specifically, a lead is somebody that has made the decision that they're going to sell their property. Okay? Let's talk about some of the reasons why people won't do business with us. They're not going to do business with us because we convince them. They're not going to do business with us because we have a great brand and they just want to give us their property. They're not going to do business with us because we're really slick and we know the right things to say, right? And we know how to, put them in a position where they're like, oh, wow, I never thought about selling the property, but now I did. That doesn't happen. Okay. So we have to remember that it starts with the seed. The seed of this is they have made the decision they want to sell their property. They're going to sell it. They're going to sign that document. They're going to go through the title process. They're going to go through the whole thing of moving their personal property out and or looking at options at how they can get the most for their property or sell it in the fastest amount of time with the least amount of problems. Remember this, when it comes to selling a property, and this is yourself, this is every other person that owns a property, there's three main factors: speed, convenience, and price. Speed, convenience, price. Sellers only get two in a normal market. Now, when it is a bananas market like 2020 was, where you could just sell anything to anybody because everybody was excited to buy real estate, the interest rates were super low, and it was a true seller's market, then maybe you could get into all three. You could get speed, convenience, and price. But in a normal market or a buyer's market, especially, the sellers only get two. So this is something that you have to find out during your discovery process when you're speaking to the property owner. And remember, when you have somebody that you're talking to, either face to face or on the phone, 80% of that conversation is about them, not the property. It is about what is their current state. And I'm going to break this down in this analogy that I have between Hell Island and Heaven Island and how to cross that bridge from Hell Island to Heaven Island in just a second. But fundamentally, this is what we're looking for. Okay. So when we're looking at, okay, I'm speaking to a property owner and they really want speed and convenience. Great. That's a cash as is offer. Going back to this little graphic here, that is the cash as is right in the middle, right? And remember, with every lead, there's really only five paths, five buckets that they go down into. Retail, right? They get a real estate agent, they put it on the MLS, and they try to get as much as possible in the shortest amount of time. Novation, that's where they don't want to deal with anything. So we kind of take it over with, kind of white glove treatment, as Richard Wonders would tell us, the most incredible novation guy that I know. It would tell you that people just want to sell they want a certain price. It's more than a cash as is, but the property's in decent condition. They can get a conventional loan on this. By the way, if you guys have questions as I'm going through this, put them in the chat here. Don't just sit there and be naive and not get your questions answered and be like, I don't know what he's talking about. All right. Put them in here. That's the point of doing this live. All right. Cash as is, right? Typical. They just want to boom. They want to get this property off of their books as quick as possible. A flip property. You could certainly go into a flip situation where you're buying and flipping that property, or a buy and hold. So we've got five main options with every single lead that we talk to that we can put in there, and I'll kind of explain which scenario is best for each in this graphic in just a second. But going back to it, speed, convenience, and price. If they want speed and convenience, it's a wholesale deal. It's a cash as is deal. We assign that deal. Boom, done. Or flip. I mean, depending on what our exit strategy is. But for most of us that are just getting started out, we need to build up a big, heavy, healthy bank account. We want to get that experience without taking the risk. So we're going to wholesale those deals. If they want convenience and price, it's innovation. And if they want speed and price, it's going to be a creative deal, a creative finance deal, or it's going to be listing it on the MLS going retail. Okay, guys, this is I want to go through this graphic right here because this is what's going to help. When we're speaking to a property owner and we're finding out the four pillars of pre-qualifying every property owner every time, right? That's the condition of the property, their timeline to sell, their motivation to sell, and their price. That is the skeleton of every conversation that you're having with the property owner. You're using that about the property to pull out what's going on with them personally. Okay. But if you're talking to somebody, and this is going to happen, you're going to call somebody up and they're going to have a property that is in perfect condition. It's in perfect condition. They don't need to sell it. Like it's not an ugly house. Their expectation is going to be over here. Their price, because the property is perfect, is going to be, they're going to want full retail value for this. So what are you going to do? Well, you've got a couple options. You can do creative finance, creative finance on that property, or you can refer to a real estate agent, or you can list it. Now, in my opinion, I would stay very focused. If I were to coach you, I would say very focused on building your wholesaling business, building your investment business, being your own client if you have a license. But remember, if you have a license, you can refer deals out and get a 30, 40, 50% referral fee if you refer these good leads out. And by the way, because we're doing so much with TV ads and so much with pay-per-click, we're running across these retail leads. We are setting up for our listing agent, Stacy, who will be joining us at the top of the hour. We're sending her on 5-10 listing appointments a week. A week. Our goal is to have, right now, we've gotten our marketing budget up to, just starting this month, $100,000 a month. Woo, $100,000 a month. My goal for the business is to get all 100,000 of that covered by the referral fees that we get for retail leads. Once we're there, then all the profits that we have from wholesaling and flipping and novations are going to be just going down to the bottom line. I mean, obviously we have some overhead, but it'll come down to the bottom line. And we're going to get there. I'm telling you, you get a really, really, really good listing agent that knows what they're doing, you can get there. But let's say that you don't have a real estate license. Okay. You don't have a real estate license. Well, could they put their credit? Could an agent that you send a bunch of business to put their credit card in for your deal machine account? Can they put it in for your Mojo account? Can they pay for you to get US leads list to call all those people that are in the probate process or pre-probate process, inherited properties? Could they pay for maybe some paper leads? Could they pay for your pay-per-click campaigns? They could pay your whole marketing expenses. They could do that. Now, they can't give you a referral fee from the title company. They can't give it to you under the table. I mean, they can. It gets a little bit goofy if they get caught, obviously. But can they pay for your marketing expenses? Why not? Interesting, right? Very, very interesting. So you've got creative, you've got your MLS deals here if it's in beautiful condition. But where do we live? Where do we want to live? We want to live down here. We want to live in the dirt. We want to live in the grimy. We want those low priced, ugly houses. And I don't mean like low price, like they're $10,000. This could be San Diego and the low price is like $500,000. But what I'm saying is the uglier, the better. I said for years that I think the name of the show, Matt, used to be called Ugly Houses, Big Checks, right? I've had like a lot of different iterations of the show, but that's the foundation. Ugly houses, big checks. That's the truth. Let me give you an example. We have a property that we literally just disposed today. We literally disposed this morning, $33,000. This property was just the tenants had just moved out. They completely beat up the property. It was a classic example of tired landlord. They had the property for 20 years. They had the same tenants in there for 12. They made the whole deal with the tenants. Hey, listen, we won't increase the rent if you don't call us when things break. Well, when that happens, property just gets destroyed over time, just wear and tear, right? It's going to just beat it up. And this property it needs complete gut job. Complete. I'm talking floors. I'm talking appliances. I'm talking roof. I'm talking landscaping. I'm talking countertops and cabinets and removing everything. There was animal uh, issues throughout the house, whether that be urine or poop or whatever it is. And all of that gets done, but $33,000 because it was an ugly house, right? They wanted to sell this as fast as possible. They knew didn't want to fix it up. And they originally wanted 300,000. We got them down to 255, right? But that was because they wanted speed and convenience and because it was in really, really rough shape. And this is really the world that we live in as wholesalers, is these rough houses. The uglier the house, the better, right? But what happens if the house is ugly and they want this price right here? How do we convert this? Where does this live? Ugly houses that want a big price. That's creative finance. This again is creative finance. This is the bucket that goes in, right? I can give you your price, but it's going to have to be in payments. What if somebody, you look up on Zillow and the property's worth $250,000, right? And totally fixed up, it's worth 250, and they want 240, and it needs $70,000 worth of work. Can you give them 240? You sure can. Because when we negotiate, remember this, there's three parts of negotiating: price, terms, and you. That's it. If they want the price, then they have to work on your terms. And that's where we get into this. That's where we get into the 5, 10, 50 rule. Okay? 5% down payment or less. That's where you want to live. Nothing down is perfect. Nothing down. They want that price. Fantastic. I can't give you anything down, but I can give you your price. This happens all the time, guys. If you guys see people negotiating live on some of these contests that they do, Closers Olympics, or just people that are calling up and negotiating with property owners live, and they end up getting that property, you can get any property if people are willing to take terms. Because if somebody wants 240 for a $250,000 house that needs fix up, but it needs $70,000 worth of fix up, you can give them 240,000 if you give them nothing down. 10 stands for 10-year balloon minimum, guys. 10-year balloon minimum, and 50%. You can give them 50% or less of current rents for the monthly payment. That's it. Right there. 5, 10, 50 rule, guys. Does this make sense, everybody? Make sure you're putting it in the chat there. But that's a lot of questions. Oh, good. Okay. We're going to get into these. This is going to be awesome. But guys, I'm telling you, stick to these. Stick to these and you win. I want 240,000. That's fantastic. I can give you nothing down. The property needs some repairs, right? So I'm going to have to put my budget into that. And so I'll put nothing down. I can pay you for the next 10 years. And the payment that I can give you, you look up on whatever, Rentometer, Zillow, you look at it, it's 1,500. I can give you $500 a month for the next 10 years and then pay you all off in 10 years. Boom, right there. You've got that set up. Now you just converted somebody that had an ugly house and a high price. But who will do that? Guys, this happens every second minute of every second hour of every second day, Monday through Sunday, or Sunday through Sunday, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. We'll call it Monday through Sunday. Every time. It happens all the time. This is real estate investing. That's why this is so exciting. But nothing happens unless we're having conversations and making offers. Nothing happens unless we understand this right here. Understand the difference between Hell Island and Heaven Island. What that means is, what is their current state that they're going through? Okay. And by the way, the state means like, what is their situation? And there is two parts to this. There is the surface, and then there's emotional. And guys, this is sales 101, right? The current state that they're at, what is their problem that they have with this property? Their problem is that their tenants beat it up. That's the surface. What's the emotional level? Nobody's paying them rents. The property is now vacant. The property now needs significant investment into it to get the full amount out. Maybe the emotional state is they're behind on their bills. They have to sell their property that has equity to be able to cover their bills, or they're going to lose their car. They're going to lose their house. They're going to get hounded by their credit card companies, whatever else. We got to find what is the emotional part of their current state of why they are on Hell Island. And then what do? We start talking about the desired state. What's it going to be like? What's going to happen if you sell this property? What's going to happen in your life once you're done with this, Susan? Once we buy this house and you don't have to worry about it anymore, how are you going to feel? Oh, I'm going to feel light as a feather. Oh, I'm going to feel wonderful. My life is going to be so much easier. This is so stressful. This is something that's taking all this. And by the way, guys, it takes real skills to understand what Hell Island really looks like. It takes a tone of voice. It takes patience. It takes empathy. It takes experience. It takes reps speaking to a lot of property owners so that they will lower their force field and be honest with you and really let you know what's going on. Ryan Thornton, my acquisition manager, is one of the best in the country. I think he's the best in the country. I'll put him up against anybody. He's going to be on this show in about 80 minutes or so. He's going to blow your face off. All right. Because he's absolutely incredible at understanding what is the emotional side of their current state and what does it look like in their desired state once you solve the problem, once they sell this property. Remember, guys, a lead is somebody that has made the decision that they are going to sell their property. That is a lead. Then from a lead, then we pre-qualify condition, timeline, motivation, price. But that is all just kind of disguised to be able to pull out what is going on with these people emotionally. Okay? That's what we really want. We really want to see what will happen in their lives so that they can cross the bridge from Heaven Island, from Hell Island to Heaven Island. And we create the fastest path. What is the fastest path? Sometimes the fastest path is referring it to a real estate agent. Sometimes the fastest path is a novation. Sometimes the fastest path is a cash as is offer. My favorite, because I like speed, baby. I like churning and burning. By the way, guys, in 9 minutes, we got the incredible Tom Croll, the coach of the coaches. He wears the crown. He is the man. He is my mentor. He's your mentor. He's got so much business experience to share with us today. It's going to be absolutely incredible. But stay with me here because this first half hour of this show is all about giving you the tools to go out there and convert more opportunities. Because the fact is, if anybody is making more money in your market than you are, they've got a better business model. They've got better ways to convert leads. Okay? And so I'm giving you these things so that you can go out there and really expand, really 10x your business bigger than you ever thought. I'm talking $1 million a month. Keeping 40, 50% of that? What are we talking about here? What are we talking? We're talking about real. We're talking about real income. so that we can buy real assets. But we have to see, what is this path? Is this going to be retail? Is this going to be cash? Is this going to be creative? Is this going to be novation? That's really it, right? That's really it. We have all of these exit strategies, right? We have these exit strategies when we build a robust business where we can retail, we can novation, we can give cash as is, we can flip, we can buy and hold. But the options for them to cross from Hell Island to Heaven Island, from their current state, their problems that they have, to a desired state where they're feeling unbelievable about the release of the stress. That's why we get paid. That's how we start building up a bank account. That's when we then get into this, which Tom Croll knows. This is classic Rich Dad Poor Dad 101 right here, right? That we all have read right here. Boom, it's all in there. There's there and he talks about Kiyosaki talks about the 6 words that you need to understand for financial literacy, financial intelligence, and that is income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. Imagine if your income is so much more than your expenses, then you're buying the assets because you're able to do this. You're able to solve this problem. This is our value to the marketplace. And the more that we can understand where people are at in this part, in this graph right here, based on the condition of their property and the price that they want for it, the more that we're able to do these things, the more problems that we can solve. And the more problems we can solve, the more income goes in to buy assets. This is where you build wealth and not just be rich. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between rich and wealthy. And cash flow is what we're talking about. This is where we're all going to. This is everybody watching this is all about improving yourself so that you have more value, which means that your income goes up, which means as long as your expenses don't go bananas, which is the toughest part, and our cash flows high enough, we can actually buy assets that then put more cash flow into our income side. That's what the rich do. That's what the wealthy do. That's the whole game plan. This is the whole blueprint to all of this. But we got to discover what is going on here. What is going on here and what is going on right here. Right? Sellers only get 2. Speed, convenience, price. Speed and convenience, wholesale, cash as is. Convenience and price, novation. Speed and price, that's a creative deal or listing it on the MLS. And if you were like, I don't know how to do creative deals. Yes, you do. I just showed you. It's not rocket science here, guys. Boom. It's right there. And make sure that you can cash flow. Make sure that you can cover your expenses. Make sure that you understand that it costs $2,500 to $3,500 a year for the upkeep of a rental property. Make sure that you by the way, what a lot of people do, and just a side note before I bring on the incredible Tom Croll, is what a lot of people do in this situation here, where it's an ugly house but they want a high price. A lot of people do lease options here. They wrap it with a owner occupied. So you go out there, you say rent to own, classic, you see it everywhere. Rent to own. And people reach out. They don't have great credit. They can't go buy the house themselves, but they want to. You're able to wrap that all up and put it into. They give you a down payment, which gets you cash up front, and then they do a lease option on it. They do a lease option. And so I've had a tremendous amount of interviews on this, where this is a very, very known strategy. This is a very common strategy. It's been used for years and years and years and years. And we've worked with people that do that, or have looked for that. But for the most part, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. My team, what we're looking for, and you find what you're looking for, my team is living right here. My team is living right in here. I love this segment right here. The uglier the house, the better. The uglier the house. That's why we go out with Deal Machine. We go and get the Driving for Dollars list. That's why 80% of people that do their first deals, it's usually an ugly house that they sell to another investor. If we get that income coming in, and get that assignment fee income coming in, and boom, we're living in this space, and it is awesome. It is awesome. You could build a business where your whole where people are going out there and locking these deals up, and you're getting the net bottom line, being a real business owner and being able to put that into assets. Literally, this building that I'm in, the studio that I'm in, was paid for by ugly houses and big checks. Literally. I mean, that is this. Income came in. I bought the commercial building. Boom. There you go. So, hope this all makes sense. You guys, you can squeeze so much out of every single opportunity. So just understand that if you have somebody that truly wants to sell their property, you have options. Okay? You're able to squeeze these out. Now, if you're just getting started and you don't really know the process, focus on ugly houses. Focus on the ugly houses. Don't worry about, I mean, if they want a ridiculous price and they're open to being the bank on it, great. You can connect with anybody on the chat here. There's so many people that are experienced with creative finance deals, and step through that. But for the most part, cash as is the gateway drug to all the rest. It's my pleasure. Bring on Tom Croll. Tom, how are you?
Bam!
Come on. Let me hear that bell.
Brother, are you just getting better and better looking and more fit on every one of these episodes? What is happening here? This is
I'm just
phenomenal.
telling you, man. I found the fountain of youth, and
I
I'm
love
drinking it up. I'm drinking it. It's actually in my Stanley right now. Fountain of youth. Yeah.
Well, you look good. I'm watching your presentation. I'm
Yep.
totally inspired. I love watching you before I get on because I learned something or I'm reminded of something. This was from my buddy Robert, right? He drew it in the book for me. I mean, and I love this 5, 10, 50. This is the freedom framework.
Yep.
This is the freedom framework. And I love what you said about, the guys. I mean, it's so simple. Whoever has the most outrageous every single person on this live, as soon as it's over, should go out and ask some stranger for something out. You've got to build that muscle of asking for outrageous things. No one has ever built anything great without awkward conversations. And I am telling you, like, you're 100% right. Every minute of every day, these deals are getting done.
Yep.
By who? Right? It's the guy who's asking the most girls out on a date. That's who's going to get the date, right? Like I mean, I love it. This is so, yeah. And a lot of times we're held back. We don't want to have that conversation because of two good points you brought up. Either we don't really know how, we don't know the details. Guys, that's why the title company, the title company, they have like a pencil and eyeglasses and they do all this like weird paperwork. They'll take care of all that stuff. Just get the basic parameters of a deal. Can't give you top price, but I can give you all cash right now. I can give you a down payment, whatever it is. Let the title. What do we do next? I don't know. Let's go to the title company. Great, easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
And by the way, guys, Tom's book is going to be coming out hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon.
It's going to be absolutely incredible. I don't know how many copies are still left, guys. This is the greatest wholesaling book that's ever been written.
Awesome.
By Tom Croll. It's absolutely incredible. I actually did a whole podcast series breaking down this. But let me ask you this, because I put this little sticky note in here.
Okay.
There's a chapter 2 that's called Be to Have.
Yeah.
What does that mean, Tom? Be to
man.
have.
This is. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, it just the little one little extra point. It says day by day, what you do is who you become.
The most important thing that I learned, right, when I was struggling and, we hit rock, so many investors have this rock bottom story. I have it, my origin story. Everybody has it, right? And mine was Julie crying whether or not to pay groceries or pay the mortgage. I think what happens is you have this shift where you just change what you believe is true, and you just stop believing all these lies about who you are and what you're capable of. When you build up all, you collect all this evidence all day, right, about who you are and what's true and what's not true about you. And when you hit rock bottom, all of a sudden everything you're afraid of, this is why rock bottom is so beautiful, right? We all start there, or so many of us do, story after story after story, and then getting to go to Delmonico's, right, with Robert Kiyosaki, and getting invited to his book club, right, like, and spending time with this guy. But the reason is because it's not so much about what you do. The real shift happens on who you are when you stop
Mhm.
hanging out with the wrong people, right? When you stop listening to rumors, right? Remember, guys, whoever listens to a rumor, if you're listening to a rumor, you're being manipulated. You're weaker than the person telling it, right? The person who's telling you the rumor is controlling you. So don't listen to rumors. Try to call Brent Daniels and say, have you heard about this guy? Oh, something just came up. I got to go. So it's all about who you have to become. And when you look at that the right way and you realize how powerful you actually are, that you're made in his image, that you are so much more powerful than you give yourself credit for. You're so much better looking. You're so much more blessed than, you're not sitting in a situation. It could always be so much worse wherever you're starting from. And I think that's really what has to change. Is the fundamental shift is, I'm able to have awkward conversations because I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm done with all that. I don't have to go lease or finance a new car. I don't care about that stuff because I don't care what anybody thinks. When I have the money and the wealth and success, I'll do all that stuff, right? But I'm willing to have awkward conversations because I've given up on old beliefs about who I am and what I'm capable of. And that really was the big shift. And one of those was reading. And I know I say this every week, but
Every week.
I'm not a reader. I read slow. I can't remember what I read. I lose my place. I have to reread the same thing. I get sleepy. That's all BS. If you can read street signs, you can read a book. And that's one of the things that separate the successful and the wealthy from the people who struggle. It's a simple little thing like just picking up these books and just reading them. I mean, that's
It's
it.
the highest ROI. It's the
Yeah.
highest ROI that you can possibly get. And it's really interesting. Bo, my 7-year-old, that
Love Bo.
Tom, he was like, why do I have to do homework? Why do I have to do homework? I do stuff at school. And I was like, it just kind of came to me. It's like, because being able to study at home is really important. Being able to do the things. Now you're learning how to study stuff that you don't really care about right now, but imagine, Bo, when there's something that you really really love and really want to learn. This is a skill that you're learning right now by doing homework. I just kind of,
Right.
flipped the script on it. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
true, and I don't think that that's in our education system for that, but it was just kind of that thought is truly. I mean, Tom, I'll be honest with you. In high school, I could memorize stuff enough to get really good grades. I copied 90% of homework from the smart people in the class, honestly, just because I was able to be the friendly, jovial guy that people are like, yeah, whatever, here you go, type of thing.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't. There was nothing in college the exact same. You know what I mean? It wasn't until I really got into personal development, the Think and Grow Riches, the Rich Dad Poor Dads, what's his name, the big tall guy, oh my gosh,
Tony
Tony
Robbins.
Robbins.
Yeah.
All of these things that I really, all of a sudden, that flame just went right up, and then all of a sudden it gives you more confidence, and then you learn, okay, this is the path that I need to go down. And I don't know a single entrepreneur that doesn't do some sort of education at home, do some sort of studying at home, whether it's YouTube, podcasts, books, whatever it is so critical.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
critical.
there's a reason every home over 20 million has a library, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
was sure every single person, all of
Say that
my
again, Tom. That should that should
yeah.
be the name of a book.
It's true. Every home over 20 million has a library for a reason. And, every one of my clients, if you said, Tom, take the 100, 200 most successful people you've ever coached, all of your clients, your peers, your colleagues, what is the one thing they all read? And I say this every week, and people just think, what do they do? I just read it. Did you read it or did you listen to Audible? Right? I was
Yeah.
nothing wrong with Audible, but I was just on the phone, with Tiffany High, right?
Yeah.
great people. What were we talking about? Platform Revolution, one of the greatest books ever written, right? This book right here, all these direct mail pieces, where do they come from? Right here, one of the best books ever written, right? Bill Glazer, Outrageous Market. This old book, these ancient principles, every single page is gold, right?
Love it.
These are the secrets. It's there's yeah. So when
Tom,
you
give us some of that distilled down, because you've got your 88 principles.
there's 88 rules, principles to live by. There's
Yep.
all let me give you one right now. One of the
Yep.
rules, right? One of the rules is don't listen to rumors, by the way. That's rule
Yep.
number 22. But I'm going to say this, listening to rumors is a real game changer, because you try to call someone who has a net worth over, let's just say, even 10 million, they'll hang up on you. Oh, something came up, I got to go. One of them, I'll give you guys a little trick, especially because if I want to know how any real estate investor is going to do this month, all I've got to do is look at what they did 90 days ago, right?
Yep.
Because you're on a 90-day cycle, right? There's 9 rules to marketing, right? And if I want to know if you're following them, the 9 rules of marketing, all I have to know is what did you do 90 days ago, and that's going to tell me what you're going to do. One of the rules are move to an epic calendar. You want to like radically shift all of your numbers and what you measure and your KPIs and your ROI, dollar in, dollar out for marketing activity. Move from a monthly calendar to a weekly calendar. I do
Mm.
this with my clients. It's called an epic calendar. You need to know the week of the year. So if you're watching your numbers, if you're doing your numbers every single week, like Tony Counts does my EPLS report every single week, right? Which is available to anybody who wants it. You can get an EPLS report from her. She's phenomenal. It's every single week. You go in, week out. This is week 27. This is week 20. This is week 38. The reason is this. It's one of the principles, which is 10 weeks, not 10 months. People
Mhm.
who get their numbers slowly over a monthly period, you take too long to see what's going right or wrong in your business. So what's happening is, if you don't really look at your P&L, and you kind of just are like on a roller coaster, and you're not really engaged with your numbers or understanding how to read them, if you do that once a month, it could be 3 or 4 or 5 months until you see what's coming. If you move to an epic calendar every single week, instead of all your reports are weekly, you will see stuff coming. You become prophetic. You become clairvoyant. You're like, oh, this line is way off. Why are these 2 lines starting to merge? And guys, if I can do it, and I got a 990 on my SAT, if I can read these easy reports, right? If the EPLS report is easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? That's why my comptroller does that. But if I can do it, anybody can do it. Move to an epic calendar, know the week of the year, and do everything by the week of the year, and your whole business will shift nearly overnight, because there's no more death by 1,000 needles, right? This 2, 3, 4 months out to find a problem. Now you
Yep.
know this in a few weeks, and it's easy.
How do we, when we're just getting started out, Tom, what should be the main focus of our efforts in a weekly schedule?
Revenue in first position. This is rule number 1 of the 88 principles for a reason. Revenue, here's your day. The way you love your family, right, is you are now going to move into a season of hustle. Daniel Lapin talks about this. All of the great men and women of consequence who have come before us. This is how you love your family, is by using your talents to love God's other children. What that means is you take care of your clients, of your deals, of your real estate deals, of your sellers. That's how you are spending time with your family, is by prioritizing this. Everybody talks about balance, balance, balance. There's no balance. There is no balance. If you try balance, you're going to fail every time. There is
Yep.
only harmony, right? So what you want to do is, everything goes in seasons. Jim Rohn teaches this. Daniel Lapin teaches this. All the great men teach us this. Ryan Holiday, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Robert Shelf, Nightingale. They all tell us the same exact ancient principles, right? So if you are in a place where your net worth is too low, you are going to move into a season of grit and hustle and prioritizing your deals over everything else except for God, because this is your time now to focus on revenue, to build a foundation. What that means specifically is this, right? You get this hourglass right here. You do the 50, 10, 50, right? You turn it over 50 minutes. And what you do is you shut your door, you put it on your calendar. Dad or mom, we're at work, right? Unless it's an emergency, there's no emergency. This is what we're going to do. The first part of your day is either collecting money from people who owe you money, making the sale instead of pushing off some far away make believe a callback date when you think you're ready to sell your house garbage, right? You bring
Hmm.
all of those forward, right? Because you need to produce revenue now, right? So there's no make believe callback dates, and then you do all of the activities that generate the ability to close. Your first part of your day is revenue, revenue, revenue. If you get a hot lead, don't go calling your brother and sister and mommy about the hot lead and the opportunity and the potential and how great it is. And I'm going to make $1 million and this really works. Go right back to the next, either close that deal and get right back. Sometimes success can be a deterrent more than failure. Sometimes that one deal, we see people, that's why I always say,
All the time.
yeah. So don't let that happen. Don't let that. You have to prioritize this because this is your way of loving your family. You have to prioritize it because that's how putting revenue in first position is the key. When I find people who are struggling and they say, "Oh, well, what happened here?" What are they doing? They're talking about how great the opportunity is. They're picking a domain name to match a website name. They're designing a
Logos.
logo.
Yeah.
Logo. God forbid. And all kidding aside, God forbid, because that is so arrogant. It is so pointed in. You're not all entrepreneurs are pointed out to what the market loves. You know who's pointed in all day? Amateurs, people who are failing. Do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Exactly right. You do what you love and you're not going to be working. I can tell you right now,
Listen, and
generating
that's an
revenue.
interesting thing. It's like, Tom, do what you love and you'll never like it doesn't matter what you love. It
Right?
matters what value you provide. Like you're always going to have customers that are going to have issues. There's always going to be stuff that comes up. Like where do you fit in to the into the market? That's the most important thing. And I'm just saying if you want to be a real estate entrepreneur, you read this book, you read this book, you go here, you do these things, and then all of a sudden you're out there and you're having a tough time because people are rejecting you. People are saying they don't want to sell their property. People telling you that you're just a shark and you're one of those dirty investors and all these other things. And you can't get past that, you're going to have a huge problem. You're going
Yeah.
to have a huge problem. But if you know internally the value that you're providing every single day and looking for the people that you can actually serve versus the people that'll really never do business with you, that's when you start really going, right?
You do what the market loves, and in that good work, you will find things that you love.
That's
That's
it.
how it works.
That's it.
And how
I
do we
love it.
know this? From Stephen Pressfield, because we read his books called Turning Pro or the War of Art. These all the answers are right in front of you. There's no such thing as a lack of motivation. There
Yeah.
is only the wanting of one thing more than another. If you're not there, it's because you don't want it bad enough. I mean
Yep.
that it's really it's very simple. This stuff
I,
is
li-
simple.
I look at your journey, Tom. Could you imagine you get fired from your landscaping job? By the way, it was your landscaping business that you sold.
That's
They
right.
kept you on and they fired you anyway,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
You have this conversation with Julie. Imagine if right then and there you're like, you know what? I'm going to just be a coach for coaches.
Right.
No, no. You had to start by going into you did 100 deals in your first year or
Right.
18 months or something like
Yep.
that, wholesaling to learn those skills. And that doesn't mean that you're going to be a wholesaler forever. It was just that step in your journey to go. And it's like mine with being a real estate agent or trying to help people get into rental properties and getting little checks just to pay the bills and then bidding at foreclosure auctions. All these other things led me down this path to now have the wholesaling company, to now have this platform to be able to speak true about what really works. But that doesn't happen. Like I didn't want to go into these houses that were totally destroyed. I didn't want to go there watching some gal smoke the longest cigarettes I've ever seen back to back to back to back on a 3-hour appointment where she's
Right.
telling me her whole entire life story. But you settle into it. You understand that this is part of the process. You have a big vision for your life, but you live in the dirt for a bit. You live in the grind. You go in that hustle season and you embrace it because everybody has to go through it.
This is the most important thing on this whole live is right at this moment because this is a systemic problem right now that is made worse from the internet, which is personal experience. The next time you have a coach or a mentor or a consultant who gives you advice, let me just tell you, you guys can do what you want for your household, but let me tell you how it's going to work in my household, right? You don't have personal experience, you're not getting anywhere near my kids teaching them anything. I
Nope.
want this is the a problem that is to such a degree, and what these coaches will do, or these people, and Robert calls them fake teachers, right? What here's what they'll do, right? Or brokers, right? A broker ever says, "Hey, let me help you invest," ask them for their returns for the last 3 years, and you're
Right.
doing better than they are. So the number one thing to do is, when a coach or a mentor says, "Well, I don't need personal experience because this coach taught this athlete to win this championship and they never played this game themselves." Sports has nothing to do with this.
Nope.
If Michael Jordan was 4'7", we wouldn't know his name, right?
Right.
It's a totally different venue. You must. Why would you choose someone who doesn't have personal experience to guide you to? The only reason I'm successful is because every single man who grabbed my hand and said, "Hey, come with me," had already got. Here's who we take feedback from: 5 people. Love you, pay you, you pay, regulate your industry, or already where you want to be. You have to think more of yourself. You
Say
have
it
to have
again,
more
Tom. Say it
respect.
real quick. Say it again. This
Five
is
people.
critical. Will somebody write it
Love
in the
you,
chat? Either Alejandro or somebody else. Go ahead.
love
Love
you,
you.
pay you, you pay, regulate your industry, are already where you want to be. They're not on that list. You just politely walk away, and don't be a people pleaser and listen to them anyway, because I'm going to tell you right now, they're trying to spend time with people without them rubbing off on you, or without them influencing you. That is exactly like trying to go swimming without getting wet. It's impossible. People pleasers are liars. So if you're a people pleaser, stop that right now. You're not going to go anywhere as an entrepreneur if you're a people pleaser. I'm going to tell you right now. So just knock that stuff off. Think more highly of yourself and of your family, and get out of those situations, and reduce the number of people influencing you, and only listen to the people who have personal experience. Otherwise, no. Let other people do what they want to do. If you want to use a sports analogy, fine, but that's not for you. I'm only talking to like whoever is listening, that one person. If I can just help you, just think more highly of have more self-respect for who you are. They don't have personal experience. Cut them out.
That's it. Tom, you're the best.
Bam.
Absolutely the best. When is your book going to be out?
Brother, this publisher, I'm pushing, I'm printing Facebook posts that are the chapters that are getting excluded from this. I don't know what the heck is going on. Publishing is
Crazy.
no joke, brother.
Guys, if you're not following Tom, I mean, he puts out 2, 3, 4 unbelievable posts every single day that you read it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is, I mean, it just hits that part of your brain that instantly makes sense. It not only does it make sense, you're like, why didn't I think of this? You know what I mean? Why didn't I think this way before? It changes your whole perception of what it means to be a business person. So definitely follow Tom. He's at coachinginc.com. Do you post everything there too, or is it just on your Facebook?
Is that on Instagram? I don't think I don't know what Instagram. I don't. I
Yeah,
don't
just
know. I
go,
gotta
just
log
go.
in.
Tom
Facebook.
Croll, Krol, not 2 L's, and definitely follow Tom. Tom, you're the best.
I love you, brother. Enjoy the
Love you,
day.
bud.
Tell
Awesome.
everybody I said hello.
Tom Croll, everybody. Guys, put in the chat if you like when Tom comes on the show. Would love to get some feedback. Participate, guys. The more that we participate and be involved in these weekly shows, the more connections that you can make, the more money you're going to make. I'm just telling you, people have made an absolute fortune sharing deals in the chat, supporting each other, getting accountability buddies in the chat, and so make sure that you do that. That's why we do these shows live. I think that honestly, my perspective, this is just a little bit, but YouTube channels for the most part in our industry are just kind of clickbaity to get to get subscribers and views on some stuff, and everybody kind of just regurgitates what everybody else is doing. And I want to be able to interact and see what's going on, so that this is the most valuable real estate channel that you go to. That's my goal. I'm working on it every day. We're getting a little bit better every week, and invite you to join us every time that we go live, and participate, because we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to celebrate your successes, love to answer your questions. We've got a bunch in here that we'll get to. But before we do, let's just jump into real quick a couple of the tools that I had talked about before, guys. Deal Machine. Deal Machine has just absolutely done a fantastic job. It's the number one tool that real estate investors are using that are really serious about their business. You get 10,000 free skip traces. They've done an unbelievable job of making it a CRM as well, and be able to pull all the lists, the foreclosures, the probates, the tired landlords, the owners that have a bunch of equity or tired, or the owners that have owned their property for a long time. So definitely check out dealmachine.com. You get a free trial with the TTP code. Check that out. US lead list, guys. This is number one. Let me reset this. This is the number one list that we use in the Rhino tribe to get the biggest, deepest discounts. This is exclusive in certain markets. So make sure that you lock yourself in, because after I think two or three in each market, they don't do it anymore. Spokio. I really like Spokio. This is the one that Rafael Cortez suggested last week. Phenomenal tool for being able to pull up the relatives of property owners that you can't get a hold of. Deal Machine, you get the initial run. You're trying to get a hold of specific property owners. US Leads List comes with all of the contact information. But when you can't get a hold of the property owners, Spokio is a really, really, really great tool. And then when you're really ready to take it to the next level and get those inbound leads, talktopeople.com. That is our PPC agency. We are the best of the best at this. We are doing phenomenal work. And oh my gosh, you get access to all of our coaching, all of our mentorship, and you get your PPC running, because getting leads in is great, but if you can't convert them effectively, it just doesn't work. And we want to make sure that everybody gets the absolute best leads. So check those out. We've got Stacy, my real estate agent, coming up in 5 minutes, but let's get to some of your guys' questions while we are waiting in that. Brent, who do you use for your CRM, or do you stay with paper and accordion folder? Yeah, listen, the first $1,000,000 I did was that. Will you go get that? Where's that accordion binder, Matt? Somewhere. It might be in my. I think it's on my by my desk, guys. The first $1,000,000 I did was basically this sheet that I had made with. I had actually made it on Word and Excel, and then I would just put it into a. Oh, it's right here. I put it into this accordion binder that I would just pull out. This is a. Uh, the one that I had two versions. One is the monthly one is the daily one, 1 through 31. And I would just put them in there. If it was what's today, the 14th? If it was the 14th, I'd pull it out, I'd call the leads, boom, done. And then I'd put them into wherever it was the next time I was going to call them. So there you go. We'll get some Rhino ones. Yeah, we'll make some Rhino branded accordion binders so everybody doesn't have to. That'd be cool. That'd be great. Alejandra loves that project. She's full on board. She's not. She's not at all. She's like, that will be ridiculous. So to answer your question, Rafael Cortez, the CEO Pulse, built our Podio that we're using for our CRM. It's done a phenomenal job. Now that we've got some properties coming, a lot more inbound leads, I think that we're going to be transitioning to Follow Up Boss. It's a little bit more expensive on a monthly basis, but it's got some really cool stuff. But if you're just getting started out, don't fool around with a CRM. Tom Croll would just put his leads on the wall. Luke Rothfold, Viking Boys, just put it on the wall. I would put it in the accordion binder. I would have a red folder that was my hot. I would call it my stalker list. That's what my coach told me. Kathy Anderson with the Mike Ferry organization was like, hey, listen, you need to have a stalker list of your hottest leads. And remember, leads are all about triage, right? The hottest leads get the most attention. Triage like you're going to the hospital. You got your arm cut off. I have a cold. They're going to treat you first. Okay. That's the way you have to think about hot and warm and cold leads. All right. Yeshuni, is expired list from realtors good find? Yeah, I think so. I think it's pretty good, especially if you're looking for a more If you're looking to do some sub two stuff, if you're looking to do take over those, oftentimes expireds get called as soon as it goes expired. The next day they'll get between 50 and 70 calls depending on your market. So I'd let that cool down a little bit. Honestly, I'd let it cool down maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then give them a call. And obviously you're going to sound different because you're a buyer and not an agent. But go for the expireds that are ugly if you're going to be wholesaling. Don't try to call up expireds that they've got this beautiful remodeled property and be like, hey, will you take 50 cents on the dollar? It's gonna be a waste of time. All right. Yeah, there you go. Uh Epic changes. Hey Brent, you own a Joe Homebuyer franchise. Do you buy deals? Yes and yes. Yeah, I own the Phoenix, a Phoenix franchise here, the Joe Homebuyer. Boom. There you go. Great guys out of Utah, Cody Hoffine, Mark Stubler. Both have been on the show, and phenomenal. It's a phenomenal brand, in my opinion, and they do a great job with training and systems and all that. And of course, I buy deals. That's what we do. I love deals. So bring it. Dustin, do you go for quantity over quality? Not anymore. So there is a transition. Can we, you know what? I'll do it right here. I'll do it right here. Do we have that transit? I don't know if we have a graphic of that. Do we, the inbound versus outbound? I don't think so. So guys, step one, hold on. Why is this thing not, this thing's frozen up, Matt. Oh, it's not letting me write on it. Yeah, this app. I think it's this app. Let's go to the board here if you don't mind. Right here, and then we're gonna bring in Stacy Granger. She's awesome. You'll love her. Number 1 here, 2, 3, 4. Do first deal. Okay, do your first deal, and usually this is going to be from outbound. Outbound. Most of the time, we don't have a huge budget for marketing. If you don't have $2,000 a month to put towards marketing, then you need to do outbound. This for inbound. Inbound is direct mail. This is PPL, which is pay per lead. There's some great companies that do that. This is PPC, right? That's pay per click. That's the top of the pyramid. That's intent based. That's awesome. TV, radio, all those things, right? That's all inbound. Billboards, all that stuff is inbound. But for the most part, it's going to be outbound. You're going to stay here until you can get consistency and go full time. Full time is when you replace your income from your job. You walk into your boss's office again, and you say, thank you for the opportunity. My own business is now at the point where I can go full time. Best of luck with the business, but I'm making some different priority changes, right? So now you go full time as a real estate entrepreneur. Awesome. This is where everybody gets trapped. This is where 80% fail, because right here we're called a self-employed, right? This is self-employed right here. If we're not out there taking action, going on appointments, talking to people all the time, we don't get paid. But right here is still outbound. Outbound. This is going to be calls, texts, and door knocking. Can you guys read vertically? I feel this is getting bananas. Well, listen, I got technology, Matt, that doesn't work. You're screwing me up here. But this is where everybody falls back, because then they start doing inbound. They don't have the with all of these here. They don't have all the systems in place. Things slip through the cracks. You start hiring people, your income drops, your net drops, and then all of a sudden you got to let go of everybody, and now you go back here. 80% of wholesalers, flippers, real estate agents, whatever, this is what happens, because they don't have the systems in place and the budget in place to be able to get the inbound closed, right? And then here is when you're truly you're just out of the business completely, and you're at that 30,000 foot view, and you're more working on the business, not in the business. You're making sure that all of your systems and all of your budget is here, and that's where I'm at now. So when you talk about quality and quantity, when you're living in this space here, it's all about quantity. The more people you talk to, the more business that you're going to find. And typically, when it comes to inbound versus outbound, it's 1 in 70 leads per deal. Okay, for this is outbound, and this is 1 in 15 leads per deal. But what I will tell you is, and Stacy will speak to this, if she was having to go on 70 appointments that weren't quality, we're just sending them out there, there were just people that may want to sell, maybe not, she'd get burnt out, there wouldn't be a lot of success, and it wouldn't work. But if you can get it to the point where you've got a lot less leads and they're higher quality, they do want to sell, they're inbound, they have literally said, hey, listen, I want to sell my house, the likelihood, the success ratio is much, much, much higher. All right? Boom. With that, I'd like to bring onto the stage Stacy Granger, my real estate agent on my team. Come on in, Stacy. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Awesome. You're going to be right here.
Fun.
You're going to be right here,
Okay.
fist away from the microphone. All right. So we got a bunch of leads coming in from PPC right now. We just started TV. When the leads come in and they're beautiful, what happens?
Easy conversations.
Okay.
You send me on appointments and it's easy conversations. For me, because my background was in this, talking about the cash option versus the listing option has been really critical, easy guys. For me. It's like options.
Don't fall asleep here.
Yeah.
I understand that Stacy is technically a realtor. All right. Don't just fall off here, because this is really critical.
Multiple hats.
But you can go in with a cash option as well.
Yes. So I actually do present the cash offer.
Right.
And then when the numbers obviously don't pan out for them, then we start talking about other options.
Yeah.
So, and the main one, obviously for me, listing.
Yeah.
And so how much we can get from that, the percentages they're losing from that versus cash, how long it takes on market, all of that. And a lot of times, like in yesterday on that one,
Did we lock that up yet?
We locked that up.
We locked that up?
We locked it up.
Nice.
So that one thought she wanted to list for max value.
Right.
And then called me yesterday after going through the process of trying to get everything out of that house and was like, okay, explain to me this cash offer again.
Right.
And I was like, sure.
Yeah.
And within 3 hours, we had it locked up.
Because it goes back to, I was showing this here. Let me get into, Matt, I'm locked out of this thing. I'm on StreamYard. I can't click anything. Can you? Yeah. I don't know what's happening here, because I want to show the graphic here for.
That pencil died, by the way.
What?
Yeah, it was 100% earlier. You saw it. It says it's dead.
Anyway, let's talk about the difference between. So we're talking about speed, convenience, and price.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And the sellers only get 2.
Yes.
And when they want the price and the speed, we got to put it on the market.
Yes.
But it's inconvenient.
Yep.
Because they got to do showings, they got inspections,
Get
they got to
show
wait.
ready is the biggest thing for a lot of these.
And keeping it ready.
Yep.
And so are you having those discussions with people when they go, hey, we want a cash offer? You go out and you're like, hey, listen, this is the cash offer, but this is to get your price. These are the things you need to do.
These are the conveniences.
Right.
Yeah. That we're allowing you. Like, you get to walk away. You take what you want and you leave the rest.
Yeah. But how do you talk to the inconveniences of showings and getting it ready? Having it ready.
Yeah. Many of these houses, they're not even, they've thought about selling, but they haven't really gone through the process of knowing how to get ready for selling.
Right.
So yeah, there's stuff everywhere in these houses. So it's like, if we're 30 days out from them even having it ready to go.
Yeah.
So, and I think the longer they sit there and think about the process of it and not start it,
right,
almost works in the cash favor.
Right.
Because after a while they're like, well, I don't want to deal with any of it.
Right.
Now I just want,
because they literally reached out to us because they want a cash
something
offer.
Quick.
Right.
Most of these that I go on want something quick.
Is there any sellers that you talk to that don't want to sell their property quick? You know
Like
what I mean?
two out of maybe the 60 people you've sent me so far.
Yeah. This is what I showed here.
Yeah.
Right. So speed,
Mhm.
convenience, and price. Speed, convenience is wholesale. The speed and the price is going to be listing on the MLS.
Yes. Yep.
By the way, guys, real quick, I just want to give you a
Exactly
little bit
right.
of background here. Stacey, what were we doing in
Oh,
2012
yeah, I
every
was thinking
morning?
about this morning.
Every morning, what were we doing?
We were door knocking the entire city of Central Phoenix. I was trying to think where we started, 15th Ave or
Yep.
19th Ave.
Yep.
We worked all the way through Central Phoenix, Arcadia, Biltmore, South Scottsdale. I think almost Shaberhood. I
Uh-huh.
think we've almost done every neighborhood zip code through there.
We would
And
just go
door
and
knocked
knock on every
comped
door.
houses.
Were you scared to do it when you started?
Oh yeah. I mean, who isn't scared to like door knock?
Right.
But the fear just kind of goes away. I mean, after you hear so many no's or get so many doors slammed in your face or go away, you're just like, oh, whatever. We'll
Right.
just keep moving.
Do you think that door knocking helps when you're on the phone?
In what sense?
In like a prospecting sense, if you were to cold call somebody versus, door knock them, do you have a preference either way? Which one do you think is more uncomfortable?
Door knocking for sure.
Yeah.
Face to face with someone's more uncomfortable, but you'll be surprised. I feel like I get nastier responses from cold
course.
calling.
Yep.
Right? Because they're behind the phone.
Yep.
But so they're not quite as nasty behind the door. But yeah, I mean, I did well door knocking. People liked me. I think it was a female. I was a little less, offensive. Or
Was it
whatever.
scared?
Yeah.
Was it scary to door knock?
Oh yeah.
Just from
But I only went in certain homes.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give
And
some
then
advice
I was
on
in,
that.
I was like, oh gosh, I really wish someone was here with me.
Right.
But, yeah.
Well, we would always
It is
partner
scary.
up. We would always
Yes,
be like
for the
across
most
the
part,
street
yeah.
from each other. We'd always
Uh-huh.
kind of keep an eye on it. But I mean, we knocked 15,000 doors at
Oh
least.
yeah, our map was we filled in the entire Central Phoenix, Arcadia, Biltmore, South Scottsdale.
I learned so much from that.
So much.
I mean, that
The
was
city,
like training day.
like the back
Yeah.
of my hand.
Yeah.
Zip codes and it's
Awesome.
probably why we can.
Let me ask you this. So if a wholesaler was bringing you listings all the
Mhm.
time and they didn't have a license, so you couldn't give referral fees.
Okay.
What do you think about paying for their dialer or paying for?
Oh yeah, marketing fees. Absolutely.
Right?
Mhm. In fact, I'm kicking myself because now that I'm here doing
Uh-huh.
this, I'm like, I've known you and so many wholesalers in this valley. Like, why did I not
Right.
start this sooner?
Right.
Right? Offer something
Y-
to work leads that you guys aren't even working,
Right.
but paying thousands of dollars to get. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Paying a
it's
ton.
like the perfect relationship.
It is.
Yeah.
So if you were to do that again, if you were to reach out to other wholesalers, if we weren't working together, what would that conversation be like so that the wholesaler felt comfortable giving you the leads and then you would, reciprocate by marketing? How would that go?
Yeah, it would be like, let me, provide a service that you're basically just letting go by the wayside, right? And in return, I'm helping you get the leads, pay for the leads.
Right.
In a sense for you guys are licensed, so it's easy, 50-50 as
Right.
any other lead, you would work from somebody else.
Right.
So, yeah.
But if they're not
Yeah.
licensed, because there's a lot of
Yeah,
people out
not
here that
licensed,
aren't
you gotta be
licensed,
careful. You can't just
that don't have a
Yep.
big budget,
Nope.
right? They run across a lot of people that they want retail.
Yep.
They just want to put it on the market. It might not even be like they get full market
Mhm.
Zillow value, fixed up
Most of them
value.
are shooting for full market value because what you can list it for and get it is so much better than cash anyways.
Yeah.
So you line it where it sells quick still for
Yeah.
them. Yeah,
Yeah, got it.
I know.
Awesome.
It's awesome.
So that, guys, I've been talking about this for years about approaching real estate agents that are really good. I'm not talking about, listen, if somebody that is just getting their license, it'd be a little bit tougher because their skills
Mhm.
aren't sharpened. Stacy's been on a lot of appointments, a lot of listing appointments. She knows her listing presentation. She knows how to build a rapport. She knows, find somebody that's like top tier,
Mhm.
that's at a really good brokerage, and say, hey, listen, I will send you all the people that want
Yep.
retail, but I need you to pay for, some of these tools that'll
Yeah.
get me the opportunities for the ugly houses,
Right.
for the people that want it. Not only that, but when you run across, you go on these appointments and they go, hey, listen, I want a cash offer.
Mhm. Well, yeah,
Now
that's
you're
where my
writing it for
background
us.
comes into play.
Right.
Yeah, and it felt good to do that yesterday. I haven't done a quick one like that in a while.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. So what did she want initially?
Initially, we're pushing 400 to list.
Right.
Yeah, it's a big Sun City house.
Right.
And they had put a lot of, decent work into it.
Yeah.
It just was packed full of stuff.
And how much
and-
did we get it for?
265.
What?
Mhm.
265?
265.
Not 365.
No, 265.
260. They wanted 400,
She wanted to list at first for 400.
and you got it down at 265 cash.
Yeah, 265.
What are we talking about? What are we talking
Yeah,
about?
she decided that she had had enough, and her brother was going to come pick her up, and they were off to Florida, and she wanted out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Pain points.
Absolutely
Yep.
incredible.
Yeah, it
And
was fun.
that's the advantage of having an agent that understands
Mhm.
how to give the cash offers. And I remember,
Yep.
I think you slacked Jeremy, our disposition manager,
Oh,
while you
yeah.
were there.
I didn't. So this was one of them I didn't have a cash number going into.
Right.
So when I went back to look at it, I mean, I had to pull let me get with the team real quick for a couple hours, and I'll
Yep.
get right back to you with a cash number. And yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Stacy, you're the best.
it's fun.
Thanks for being on
Super
here.
fun. Thank you.
Go get some more deals.
I'm on my way. 1 o'clock. All right,
Give
guys.
it up for
Bye.
Stacy.
Thank you.
Absolutely incredible. We'll bring her on some more and get some great results. That is awesome. Guys, I'm telling you, I'm going to give you all the ways to make this business so much more fun and so much easier. And you don't have to put so much pressure on yourself from a financial side. You just got to take massive imperfect action every single day, guys. In 15 minutes, we're going to have Ryan Thornton, my acquisition manager, the best of the best, zoom in here. He's going to come in virtually and give us a breakdown of everything that's going on out there, how to sharpen your skills. So right now, if you have any objections that are being thrown at you, put them in the chat. Put them in the chat because we're going to get them answered by Ryan. I want to have all your guys' questions in there so that he can just answer them, boom, 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 for 15 minutes. And then we'll wrap up this show and be done. It's going to be awesome. All right. But we've got some more questions here. Okay. Here we go. Show. Well, what? I got it. Brent, is novations for newbies? No, do not do it if you're new. Don't. Go to novationsjv.com. Novations, is it Novation JV? I think it's Novation JV. Alejandro will put it in there. Novationjv.com. Talk to Rich Wonders. He's absolutely phenomenal. His team has a huge heart for this business. Tell him that I sent you so that they're not like, oh, this is just somebody, that came out of nowhere. This is somebody that's taking it seriously. Use my name, get it in there, and walk through the process. They're literally going to hold your hand through the novation process so that you can learn it. I'm just telling you, that's the absolute best way to do it if you're just getting started out. It's a unique experience for that strategy for sure. Jessica. Awesome. Jessica, you've been phenomenal. I've seen you in the chat. Thank you so much for participating and being loud and bringing so much love and energy to it. So I don't have a license, but I do have an LLC in real estate. Is that okay? Yes. And I think the original question there was, do I need to have a real estate license to do this, guys? So I'm going to do a show on all the different, I'm going to have a chart for all the different states that have current regulations, the ones that you require a license or they require disclosure, or you can't assign deals at all. There's a couple states like that. Not all of them, but there's a couple states. And I think eventually at some point it might be all the states, but it'll be a long time in my opinion. So strike while the iron's hot in the markets that don't require a license and allow assignments, or just change up your strategy in the markets that do. There's always opportunity when there are regulations. There's more opportunity, in my opinion, in the states that have regulations because it keeps a lot of people out. That's for a different show. But yeah, you don't need to have a real estate license for this business, right? In most states, you don't have to have one here in Arizona. You have to disclose, but that we disclose anyway. I mean, you should be disclosing anyway. Tracy, my question is there you go. Here we go. Do you need your license to do creative financing on a deal that Brent was just no? You're a buyer. When you're a buyer, when it's like a buy and hold thing. Now, if you assign it in some states, you do. But and if there's questions on assignment is just a document that is somebody takes over your place in a purchase agreement. That's essentially what wholesaling is. Somebody takes over your place. And actually, in this 20-year anniversary edition of Rich Dad Poor Dad, he talks about a 12-plex he made 50 grand on back in the 90s for an investor that took over his place in the contract. That's all it is. You find the deal. Somebody wants to take your place in the contract. They pay you a fee. Average fee is $15,000 nationwide. Our average fee for our company is $24,000 and some change. In the heyday, 2021 was $42,000. That was awesome. But that was when hedge funds were buying everything, and it was just ridiculous. So the buyers really determined that. So no, you don't need a license to buy your own real estate. Joe, power of networking. Thanks to TTP. Shout out to Gerald for NorCal cold calling and got a few potential leads. Let's go, bro. Let's fucking go. A lead is somebody that has made the decision they're going to sell their property. A lead is somebody that's made the decision they're going to sell the property. A lead is not somebody that is nice to you. I mean, they could be nice to you, obviously, but it doesn't mean that every nice person is a lead. And they talk to you and they kind of drag you along. That is not a lead. They've made the decision. Okay. Matt, there's also a question about the rehab budget. If you could put that slide in as well, that'd be awesome. Before we get there, this is something that I went over last week, and I think that this is really important to remember here, guys. And I'll show you how to pull the inventory real quick here on realtor.com, because it is critical for getting the most out of all of your deals. Let me share this. So if there's more than 2 months of inventory, it's 70% minus repairs equals the wholesale price. Then you minus what you want to make is your max allowable offer. All right. It is not the communist leader of China, Mao. It is max allowable offer. Okay. That's what MAO stands for. Okay. If there's less than 2 months of inventory, it's 80% minus repairs. And if there's less than 1 month of inventory, it's 90% minus repairs. Equals your wholesale price minus the fee that you want is your max allowable offer. So let's get into repair costs. Here's your repair, fix and flip repair calculator. These are, and by the way, that top line is square footage. If it's under 1,500 square feet, if it's an easy remodel, it's 20,000. If it needs some work, it's 35,000. And wow, this is bad is 50,000. Now, what I'll tell you is this: if you want, and by the way, there's charts. If you guys are listening to this on the podcast, please jump over to the Brent Daniels YouTube channel and just check out this on the show so that you can get the graphic and just take a screenshot and have this forever. But if you're just listening to this or just wanting to make broad strokes, $35 a square foot for properties under 500,000 is pretty typical. Above 500,000, $50 a square foot. If it needs like a full renovation, right? It needs the floors, it needs the cabinets, it needs the countertops, it needs whatever, fixtures, appliances, everything, right? Now, look at the bottom here. Any major item, add another $10,000. New air conditioning unit, new boiler, new pool equipment, new roof, new electrical system, new plumbing system, new major sewer line, whatever it is, just assume 10,000. If it's foundation issues and it's major foundation issues, I would probably put 20,000. I wouldn't probably, that's what I would do. I want to be specific here. So $20,000 for those. Okay. So look at that. That's the fix and flip repair calculator. Really easy to use. But if you just want to use $35 and $50 a square foot, that'll serve you really well and help you out with those numbers. Okay. Now let me show you how to find inventory real quick. Let me share the screen. Let me get to Realtor, share. Boom. Am I in there? Is it sharing? Okay, good. Right here in Realtor, guys, you just put in, so this is Indian Harbor, Florida, which is hilarious. I don't know why that's the default, but we'll go there. And there's 85 homes. Okay. Now what you want to do here is you see that. Oh, here we go. Let me go to listing status. For some reason, this is already locked in. If you go to listing status, so we look at this, there's 96 homes in Harbor Beach, Florida. 96 homes. It's right here in the top left, right under this here. I don't know if you can see. There you go. And if you go to listing status and you go hide pending. So first of all, this is what I want you to do. Write down 96. So 96, boom, you got 96. And then you go and you hide the pending and contingent. This will show you how many properties are under contract. Now there's 85 homes active. So you subtract from 96 and 85, 96 minus 85 is 11. Okay, that's 11. Now, what I want you to do is put 85 on top here. We'll do it over here. If anybody wonders why I asked Matt to switch me over sometime, he's got like a bazillion things he's doing back in the what do you call that? The booth. And so, and I'm all over the place. So we've got 96 total listings. We've got 11 pending. Okay, so we got 85 actives. We now take these pendings and we go, I'll just make it new here. Go 85 active over 11 pending equals, this is going to equal like 8 months of inventory. This market is slow. You got to be at 70% minus repairs in this market, or you're just wasting your time. I mean, you got 8 months of inventory in that area. That's real slow. 8 months? 8 months. I mean, a good market, I mean, an average market, they say in real estate is 6 months. I think it's closer to 3. But if it's almost triple, you were in a buyer's market over there. That is a slow market. Now, it might be a luxury market. I didn't see the price point, but holy cow, that is a lot of inventory for people there. You got to be real aggressive with your offers, real aggressive with your offers. Okay? Hope that makes sense to everybody. Awesome. Stop sharing. Okay, we got some questions for Ryan. Awesome, guys. We need some more questions for Ryan. You gonna focus me on what are we doing here? There we go. Yeah, there you go. So that is the that's the breakdown for this right here, guys. Make sure that you're really, and we look at this city by city. Jeremy Thornburg, my disposition manager. I don't even know if Ryan knows that we do this to adjust our prices. If it's like in Buckeye and Tolleson and Levine, and there's like a 4 months of inventory, there's areas that have a lot of homes that are for sale. That means that buyers have more options, which means it's slower, which means you have to be really aggressive with the pricing from the price that we get it. Remember, real estate is all about making money when you buy it. When you buy it, Ryan. Okay? Ryan's always fighting us on, oh, you guys are messing with me. You guys are trying to get these properties for nothing. It's crazy. Yeah, Ryan, because we want to get big deals, you silly goose. Let me bring him on here. Ryan, where are you? There he is.
Here I am.
Ryan Thornton, everybody, guys. Acquisition manager extraordinaire. He's the best of the best, Ryan. I'm going to hit you with a couple questions real quick. I've been asking the audience to throw some questions at you so that you can get going. I'm going to let you get into this real quick. I have to blow my nose super bad. So, Ryan, you go do that. I'm going to step off stage real quick. This mic's not on, right? Go ahead, Ryan. Answer this.
Hang on. I'm kind of, there we go. All right. From Ralph, if a seller has a price in cash, comps range willing to sign before walkthrough, lock it up and renegotiate, or wait before making offers. If a seller is willing to sign with me while I am talking to them right then and there, whether it's on the phone, a physical appointment, I am locking it up. Now, I will set expectations. If their price point is beyond what I am comfortable pushing towards, and for us in this market, I'll typically go about 15 to 20,000 over what Jeremy is comfortable with. And so I'll push those numbers, but depending on your market, the numbers will kind of fluctuate on what you feel comfortable pushing with. But I will certainly be like, listen, hey, I can work up to that number. I would feel more comfortable here, but I think we can try to figure it out. And then when we end up going through the motions of the agreement, I start bringing in the inspection, and I impromptuly
Yeah.
bring up what the inspection period means. And I'll say it essentially like this: like, listen, a lot of people are concerned about the inspection period because they're afraid we're going to go in and start nickel and diming things, 500 here and 600 here for baseboards and whatnot. But the real main reason we go in there is because we want to find, or try not to find, big surprises, $10,000, $15,000 surprises, plumbing issues, electrical issues, dead bodies under the floorboard. That's why we go in there, to do that. And so, barring something extreme that limits us or keeps us, that confidence level up, I think we can make this happen. But Ralph, in the grand scheme, if somebody is willing to sign with you right there on the phone, you do the best you can to get to the lowest you can, and you lock it up.
Yeah.
Because
Speed.
if you don't, and Brent says this all the time kills all deals. Somebody's going to call them, somebody's going to lock them up, and that appointment that maybe you had scheduled yesterday or tomorrow is not going to happen.
Yeah, you want to get as much of a commitment out of them as possible. Listen, we're going to commit to you. You commit to us. I'm going to send you the agreement to approve, and we'll move forward. And I'll get into the property when it's available or whatever. But if we can lock it up over the phone, we're going to lock it up over the phone. Now, Ryan is the master at face-to-face, and without a doubt, guys, this is not even a question. This is a fact. You will get deeper discounts if you can meet people face to face. It's not even close. Would you agree, Ryan?
Absolutely.
Why?
And I would even, and I say this on my acquisition calls, a lot of you guys are doing virtual, which is great, but I will do everything I can, if I cannot meet them face to face, to get on a FaceTime or set up a Zoom call, so I can actually be a person to them, and that rapport that you could potentially build in a physical appointment, but unable to because you're virtual, it starts to connect a little bit more. So if you can, and you are virtual, hey, would you mind, I love, kind of putting a face to the name. It's kind of how I do business. Can I set up a Zoom call so we can kind of just do this in a little more personal manner?
Yeah. And Ryan, something interesting that you do is you don't want to be talking about price over the phone. Right.
No.
And they're throwing prices at you. So when somebody throws a ridiculous price at you, it's literally Zillow, and you know that this property is destroyed. What goes through your head during those moments?
Well, I think people, they are just as afraid of leaving money on the table as we are. And so they will high anchor, right? And so that's why when numbers are talked about, it doesn't concern me. I'll go on appointments if they're looking for $100,000 over Zillow, because the things that I really focus on is the motivation, why they're selling, what the pain is, the distress, and the timeline. If those two things are strong to me, they can tell me whatever number they want. I'm going to go on the appointment. I'm going to try to lock up the deal right then and there.
Yeah, and you've been on hundreds, if not over 1,000 appointments. You have a sense of the quality of that appointment. And this is something that you and I talk about a lot is, well, am I going to get, am I just going on every appointment that they want me to, or am I going to go on the ones that actually want to sell? So when in your mind, what's the biggest, if you're looking at condition, timeline, motivation, price, what's the biggest factor that you're looking or listening for to determine if they're actually going to go, you're going to go on that appointment, you're going to get that thing locked up?
Motivation and timeline.
So expand on that.
So if somebody is if someone contacts us or you contact them and you're talking to them about what would prompt them to sell their house, what would motivate them to accept a cash offer, and they start saying, oh, well, I've been thinking about it, I've been kicking it around, it's not a big deal, I own it outright, all of these things, I'm looking at that and seeing that there's no motivation. I'll dig a little deeper, but that's what I want to focus on. Now, if I call them, they call us and they say, hey, what's an offer on my house? Like, hey, absolutely, I'd love to get you an offer. What's prompted you to start looking? Oh, well, I'm behind on my payments, or it's a rental and the tenants have not paid. They've torn up the place. Like, that in itself is motivation, right? And that gives me that glow of, okay, let's dig into this and see what else I can find and look into that timeline. And if that timeline is short and I can start solving problems, I'm going to do it. Now, even if they say, well, I looked at Zillow and Zillow says whatever that number is. I go, hey, I understand that. Are you flexible on that price? Oh yeah, okay, whatever. But that motivation, that timeline is what's going to really kind of kick me into gear and go, this is something I can work with.
Awesome. Question here by Jab. Seller wants to speak with the lawyer after sending him the purchase agreement. What are the likelihood that the lawyer will blabbermouth my agreement?
Blabbermouth, meaning like kind of
like
dissect
torpedo it, like beat it up, like
Yeah.
try to, earn their keep, so to speak.
So one of the main questions I ask when I am determining whether or not somebody is ready to sign with me right then and there is, hey, is there anything that would be keeping you from putting pen to paper with me if we agree to terms that make sense? Okay. Oh well, just out of habit, I have to have my my attorney look at the paperwork. And I go, all right. Is there something that is concerning as far as the process goes that maybe you've experienced in the past? And let them talk. And you're really trying to just dissect all these things and let them realize that this retainer or this $300 or $400 that they're going to be paying their lawyer in order to look over this paperwork, I wanted them to question that. Now, at the end of the day, if they say, what, nope, it's a friend or whatever it is, he always looks at my paperwork, whatever. I go, all right, listen, it's per policy. I can absolutely send you an idea I can send you what our agreement looks like, but we don't put anything pen to paper until I know you're ready to go. Now, I can get on the phone with you and your attorney, and I can answer any questions that he might have. But I want to make sure that at least you and I are on the same page as far as what you're comfortable with. And if you want to, pay your attorney to take a look at this, and that's fine with me.
Yeah, guys, listen to what Ryan's saying here. We're not filling out the whole purchase agreement with the price and the terms and all of that, sending it to their attorney to review. We're sending them the blank purchase agreement because we have almost every single time that we have sent an attorney the full written out contract or agreement, it stalls the transaction, and they lever that contract to get higher prices from other investors. So Ryan's not going to just give them the price, put it on there and say, yeah. Because guys, they're not taking it to the attorney. This is their way of stiff arming you to leverage your offer to get higher offers from the other people that they're talking to. Here's a written offer from somebody else. If you can beat it, it's yours. Right. And if you just send over a blank one, you kind of put them on the spot whether or not you're going to talk to that attorney. Also, how about asking this very simple question? Yeah. What's your attorney's name? What's their email? I'll send it to them.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I gotta find that, and then you move on, and then you just keep going, and you keep building the rapport and doing that. So, great question here.
Making sure you're asking is there anything that would keep them from putting pen to paper with you right now?
Yep.
Who's helping you with this decision to sell? Those questions, because the moment they say, oh yeah, I'm ready, and you start going through terms, and then they say, oh, I have to talk to my spouse, I have to talk to my cousin, I have to talk to my lawyer, whatever it is, and then it's another objection you have to overcome. So asking that question ahead of time to figure out the timeline of whether or not they're ready now is going to help you with the negotiation going forward.
Joe says, a lead I came across in NorCal has 42% equity. Okay condition with comp ranging in the mid 500K. What exit strategy would be ideal for a person who does not want a cash offer? Hashtag deal hunter.
Ooh, yeah. Aren't we all deal hunters?
Yeah, baby. He's part of us. Yeah, Joe, you're awesome. So what do you think, Ryan? What because I was showing this before, the different strategies here, right? The sellers only get two. If they want speed and convenience, it's a cash offer, wholesale. If they want convenience and price, it's novation. If they want speed and price, it's creative or listing on the MLS. First of all, I don't know any seller that doesn't want a cash offer. Let's be honest. So I don't know if that's true. And I think that's why Ryan's face is like, what is going on? Who doesn't want a cash offer? So,
right. So it's the price. It's the money.
It's the price. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what would you do?
So if they know, they're already saying, I don't want a cash offer, because they probably already talked to a bunch of wholesalers or investors who have given cash offers and they're like, listen, I want to sell, but not for that. And
Yep.
so understanding, hey, okay, what's keeping you from being interested in a cash offer? What I ask those open-ended questions. Oh, well, I've gotten a whole bunch of low balls. All right, well, what was a low ball? Try to get to the foundation of it all, because you're going to need that for when you negotiate whether or not you do a novation or you come up with something creative. I want to get the lowest possible price no matter what tool I use to get the home purchased.
Yep.
So Joe, if they're adamant about not having a cash offer, I'm going to dig into that a little bit and understand why, understand what their bottom line is, no BS prices. And then you can start looking at, all right, well, what's your timeline, right? Because your timeline is going to determine whether or not novation is going to work. And then if anything beyond that, if you have that creative kind of background to do, 40% equity, if you have owner financing, if you have that know-how, you can certainly look into that exit strategy as well.
Or just, listen, refer to an agent.
Or put it on the market. Yeah.
Yeah. Refer to an agent. Boom. I love this question here. How do you build trust and overcome concerns when you're dealing with a seller out of state or too far for an in-person meeting, Ryan?
We just mentioned it. If you can get face-to-face, because in this business, everybody and their mom and their cousin is wholesaling, is investing. And so our biggest strength is to set ourselves apart from the 8 people that called before, the 8 people that are going to call after, right? So what is it that you can do to set yourself apart with that seller? And I think getting on the phone and seeing if you can get to face-to-face, setting up a Zoom call, doing FaceTime, or if nothing else, become that sounding board. Like, listen, I'll absolutely purchase your house, but I want to make sure that you're making the best decision possible, whether or not I'm purchasing it or someone else is. There's a lot of people in this industry that they don't lead with a servant heart. They take advantage, and I want to make sure that you don't fall victim to any of that. So ask me all the questions and concerns that you could possibly have, and I can kind of go through them with you. But it's really just setting ourselves apart from everybody else.
Boom. Last question for Ryan here. How are you handling sellers who don't want to provide a key for a vacant property and getting multiple showings if no key given?
I'll ask them reasonably, like, how can I possibly give you a fair offer if I can't see inside the house? And let them answer that. If it's vacant, it's like, and you can also address the elephant in the room. It's like, listen, I get it. You don't know me from Adam, and you're giving, the keys to a stranger to your property, one of your biggest assets. So I'm empathetic to that. I'm sympathetic to that. Whatever you want to say, I understand. So you tell me how you want to move forward and make sure that this is done efficiently.
Love it. Hold on. There we go. Awesome. Ryan, last question for you. What's the difference between pay-per-click leads and cold call and text leads?
Well, let me tell you what. I think my hair was gray before, and now it's not so gray. So the stress of all the dials, right? We all got to put that work in at the beginning, but all those dials, all those no's, sifting through it. And so it's when you have the seller come to you, I mean, the lead is going to be more quality, and the chances of closing the deal is going to increase. And it's just so much easier.
What about the speed?
And the speed is obviously because the timeline and the motivation is there, right? They're calling you, they're reaching out to you. That's what quality lead kind of means. Somebody who wants to sell their home. That's the first and foremost, the number one thing that we're trying to find are people who want to sell their homes, and then we sift through all the other stuff.
With our stats, 100 days of follow-up for cold call and text leads, 2 days for pay-per-click. 2 days. Look how happy Ryan is.
I know. It's either we're going to do it or we're not. And it's done and we move on.
Yeah. Awesome, Ryan. Love you, bud. Thanks for being on the show. Go get some more deals.
Absolutely. See ya.
See you, bud. Awesome, guys. What a awesome show. You met Stacy. You heard from Ryan. You heard from Tom Croll. We gave you the tools to be able to go out and really sift it into which buckets. Remember, as a real estate investor, when we get a lead, there's 5 things that we can do with it. There's really 5 things. It's either going to go retail, right? You're going to do a novation. You're going to give a cash as is. You're going to flip it, or you're going to buy and hold. That's it. from like, if you're looking at all the different strategies and all the different things that we can do as a real estate entrepreneur, it comes down to those 5 things. So the purpose of this show is to give you as many outlets to make income from every single lead as possible. If you don't have a license, find a real estate agent that you can connect with that'll pay your marketing costs, so it'll keep your profits through the roof, right? If it's a novation and you're new to it, go check out Rich Wonders. He's absolutely incredible. Novationsjv.com. Learn the process. Then that's another tool in your toolbox where you can essentially wholesale properties to conventional buyers, which is awesome. Go cash as is with ugly houses, baby. Go cash as is with every house before you do any other options, because it's the fastest way to get paid. It's not even close. Then obviously, if you have that creativity, if you want to do that flips, if you have that construction background, if you want those bigger profits, you want a bigger piece of that pie, doing the flips, and then we add to our rental portfolio by buy and hold. I mean, that's the end game for all these things, is to buy assets that are going to appreciate over time. I don't remember, it might be 14. I think it's 14%, might be 17% of our country is actually populated. 330 million people live within 14 to 17% of the land mass of the United States. That's where there's economy. That's where there's utilities. That's where there's infrastructure. So when you own a piece of this, especially in areas where the economy is rising because the businesses are investing in the areas, you're going to make a tremendous amount of wealth. You're going to make a tremendous amount of money. You're going to be in a great spot. So remember, owning real estate is so incredibly powerful. And the gateway drug to that is the ugly houses, big checks. 2 words that should be burned into your head every single day is conversations and offers. How many conversations can I have with ugly properties, with owners of ugly properties? You can't speak to the properties themselves, so that'd be a lot easier. That'd skip a process, but speak to the property owners that own ugly houses or in ugly situations that want speed and convenience. Close those deals, replace your income, build a system, build a plan, close multiple deals every single week, get that income coming in, put it into assets. Assets bring the cash flow in to your income at the top, and boom, that's life. And I'm telling you guys, like, not to like scare you at the end of this, but if you don't understand how expensive life gets as you get older, and I'm not just talking like 30s, 40s and all that, as your parents start getting super old and maybe they haven't planned for the future, and now they're on your payroll, essentially. You have to help them out with whatever else, with living conditions, or with bills for medical, or with everything else, or kids, or whatever else, situations that pop up in life all the time. We need to do this for our family. We need to do this for our people. We need to do this for the people that we love and care about, because if not, then we're going to rely on somebody else to do it for us. And a lot of people don't have that. And then things get real ugly. So let's be that shining light. Let's be that beacon. Let's be that solid foundation that our family and our group has, our tribe has, whatever that may be. And go out and do something special. It's going to be hard. You're going to get rejected. You're going to go through tough times. You're going to go and have negative emotions. It's the hardest thing ever to be an entrepreneur. It's going to be the biggest challenge you've ever had, mentally, emotionally, sometimes physically, but the reward is so incredible. So take massive imperfect action. Go out every single day and have conversations, make offers with property owners. And if you want to be a part of the most successful proactive tribe in real estate investing, wholesalinginc.com, wholesalinginc.com. Apply to join the Rhino tribe. It'll be the best decision that you ever make. And by the way, Ryan, who you just saw, does weekly support calls, gives his phone number out to the students to help with these situations. I give my phone number out to help with these situations. Nobody does this. Nobody does this. Our purpose is to make sure that people are successful in real estate. That's our mission. That's the absolute mission. So go check that out. And not only that, Jackie, Jeremy, my disposition manager, my operations manager, my junior acquisition manager, Chad. Everybody's involved. And we have the top people doing the top real creative finance deals, getting deals off the MLS, working with real estate agents. We have 40 hours of support calls a week. It's bananas. Love for you to join. Go check it out, wholesalinginc.com. Click that apply now button. That's it.